we move on to Blanc?
Yes. So in white, Zbigniew Zamykowski's Carol's a sad sack of a man, kicked out of his Paris home and divorced by his frankly awful wife, Julie Delpy's Dominique, after failing to consummate their marriage. Soon penniless, he's reduced to begging but makes a new friend in the shape of fellow Pole Mikołaj, Janis Gejos, who helps Karol return to Poland through unconventional methods. Still pining for his wife, he makes his way back to his brother and his old hairdressing salon, but before long, and as I write this, I could not recall for the life of me why or how, he has become a lookout/bodyguard for the mob, whom he then successfully outsmarts of a bunch of money, which he then uses to set up a successful business with Karol, which he then uses to, through some poorly or not at all explained mechanics, set up a plot to fake his own death and frame his wife for it. Again, cool story, bro. This film is, I read here, about equality. I think I watched a different cut to everyone else. This is the closest to a comedy, I think, that we'll speak about today, veering more towards the dark, but not that dark. I have perhaps skipped over the more amusing situations in the recap, but watching Karol's fall and rebirth has its share of funny moments and lines, and despite sounding like total nonsense when condensed, the story was at least interesting enough to pull me along. I'm not convinced by any of the emotional strings this is trying to pull. Dominic's so unsympathetic from the outset, and by the end of things, Karol's also become a bit of a Jeremy Hunt, so I am not picking up whatever that last scene in the prison is laying down, other than the obvious callback to an earlier scene in Paris. For all my dismissiveness, I actually found this quite enjoyable. I liked it as a solid comic turn from Zamykowski, but again, I'm just not getting any deeper meaning or any emotional connection from this. I'm no film expert, of course, I just play one on a podcast, but I'm just not sure there's anything you can meaningfully analyse in here or extrapolate a hell of a lot of meaning from it. Yes, I enjoyed it, but I'm certainly not going to defend a narrative like this, which seems to be one of the more narrative-focused elements of the Kieślowski films I was talking about today. I think this is the one where it's trying to tell a story, but it doesn't really know what that story is, particularly towards the end of it, where everything just seems to happen in very fast motion for no particular reason. Like, how is this setup actually going to work? It's explained in no way whatsoever. I don't really know how Karol suddenly became a successful businessman, apparently overnight. There's a lot of time compression going on in the last half hour of this film that is not entirely clear to me what it's supposed to be doing. It's a weird one. I enjoyed it, but it's probably the film I could defend the least for actually enjoying it. This was, I think, the one you're talking. This was in the same year as Pulp Fiction, right?
No, it's this and Red are both 94. Okay. But it was Red that lost out to Pulp Fiction.
Yes. Certainly. I could see that from both, but in particular this one, it's. In a number of ways, it's probably the weakest of these films, but still it's one I kind of enjoyed, so I'm not going to be too hard on it. But I quite enjoyed it, but I can't really defend it, if that makes any kind of sense.
This is actually my favourite of the three colours.
Yeah?
Yeah, I found this really, really entertaining.
It is the most straightforwardly enjoyable of these films. Yeah. It is the most film that is set up as a ripping yarn and kind of gets through it, and I did like it. So there's that.
It's perhaps the most conventional as well, though.
Yes.
Perhaps less interesting for that reason.
Mm-hmm. I would have said exactly the same thing when I finished watching the Three Wars one. It's like I enjoyed White the most, and I still do enjoy White the most, but when I had to write something about it, it's like, this is actually nonsense, but I enjoyed it, so there is that.
I don't know. I mean, there are some slightly absurd moments too, and like suggesting how badly Julie Delpy had treated Karol in Paris, because after getting into Poland by hiding inside his own suitcase, then being stolen inside his own suitcase, and beaten up by the thieves for having the temerity to be broke despite having clothing, had no money because he was inside his own suitcase. He gets beaten up, left with 2 French francs, kicked down the side of a hill into a rubbish dump, I guess. Stands up, turns around and goes, "Oh, Jesus, home at last," happily. How badly did she treat him? And this is one I can't see quite a lot of meaning in, but absolutely nothing to do with equality.
No, yes, exactly.
It doesn't matter. It's it feels to me like it's if not a critique, it's sort of a kind of warning against kind of Western style capitalism. Poland's just become a capital at that point, and it's 10 years before Poland joined the EU, but several characters say repeatedly, we're all European now and you can buy anything nowadays. including a corpse for some sort of convoluted faking your own death strategy. So I can see like that critique of capitalism and stuff there. I'm not convinced this is exactly the vehicle to do that well in, but I can see it. But the whole equality thing, nah, definitely not. However, yeah, I found it really entertaining. I had this slight problem that Zbigniew Zamachowski, who plays Carol, struck me almost immediately as looking too much like Bobcat Goldthwait, and from that point on, it was Polish Bobcat Goldthwait, I couldn't shake it. And yeah, Mikołaj is Polish Stephen Ware. Basically, I'm just trying to find Eastern European equivalents to people I already know in Western cinema for no reason. Just it struck me a few times.
Good to have a hobby, I suppose.
Yes. There are kind of strange leaps in sort of logic, or at least in plot. Like, he's suddenly very, very successful. Okay, by what do they sell? Stuff?
Yes.
Maybe everything? It's weird. And you said you didn't know how he got the job? Because he got it from one of his hairdresser contacts. One of the people whose hair he does for his the barber shop, the hairdresser that's now his brother's, says to him, "You've got a meeting today." So he wanders down to the little hut where the mob have their money racket that everybody knows is there apparently, and it's in the middle of the city, and people can just walk in, and goes, "I want a job." Okay then, because the person I cut her hair for said to come down. That's how that happened, Scott.
You can see why I might have forgotten that.
Yeah, then he sort of he tricks them, and then presumably lies about having an airtight will that if he dies, everything will go to the church. I assume he made it up on the spot rather than actually being the case.
Yes.
But you never find out one way or the other, so I guess it doesn't matter. But then, because of that, the mob at no point get any revenge on him or do anything to him. Like,
Famously forgiving organised crime, these guys they just don't care that much. You know?
Yeah, it's
they're
like,
good guys at heart.
Yeah, we're about to kill you, but now we'll give you $50,000 instead. Okay, right. Yeah. So plot's not its strength. But I found it very funny, and I did not anticipate it going where it went to, because it seemed to me that he was kind of infatuated with Dominique, and that he just wanted to show, look, I'm a success, I'm going to be with you again. But it was like, no, I'm a success, screw you, lady.
Yes.
I'm going to get revenge. I did not expect a revenge twist. It was I found really quite amusing. However, I was vaguely annoyed that the film sort of undercut that at the end by showing him spying on her. He can bribe his way into the prison so he can look at her through some opera glasses again.
Yeah, I just did not. That's what I'm referring to. That, but I just could not understand what that scene's trying to do. I mean, if he really does still have this kind of level of affection for his ex-wife, then why frame her for murder?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, actually, come to the fact that the ending seems to have been undone twice for this film. It's undone again in the next film, but Kieślowski had said that this is from Wikipedia, and there's a lot of wrong information in Wikipedia about Kieślowski films in particular, as far as I can tell, so be careful with this one. But Kieślowski has said that he was dissatisfied with the ending shot previously and wanted her to seem less of a monster. And I still think it kind of undercuts it because, well, she is a monster. She was a flaky, terrible, terrible person, capricious, evil, and mental, clearly, because she set fire to her own shop so that her husband would be put in prison for arson.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've kind of set up her as a monster, you're going to need to do a lot, but also it undercuts very much his activities rather than changes her character of having him do that at the end and also risk being caught.
Yeah.
This is only just a few minutes after his brother, who's given him the stuff to presumably bribe the visiting guards with, because the next time you see him after he goes in the gate, it's gone, so presumably it's a bribe. His brother said, come away from the window. If you you don't want to be seen if you get caught. Basically, we're all going to prison, and then he walks into a prison so we can spy at this woman he is put in prison. You know, this film does not make much sense at the end.
Yes.
So, yeah, that was very strange, but I still really enjoyed it. But perhaps cinematically, as you said, Scott, it's perhaps the hardest one to defend.
Yes.
But and yet, in many ways, more conventional than the rest. But certainly, of the three Colours films, the one I enjoyed the most.
Yeah, yes, I agree. It's this is a straightforwardly enjoyable, and it's pretty funny. And as a lot of comedies, it can get away with making some pretty bold jumps of logic and reason, because it's trying to be funny more than it is trying to be a realistic character study or anything like that. So it works on its own goals. I think it achieves all of its own goals and becomes enjoyable for it.
So you have like the speaking of your Bobcat Goldthwait fella, speaking of Zamakowski, partly because he looks like Bobcat Goldthwait, but also he's got a kind of comedy actor face.
Yeah.
That you can never take the film seriously anyway, I think, with that actor in the role.
Yeah.
But as for a comic actor, it works just fine.
Yeah, yeah.